I've officially signed as an MMA fighter to the fastest growing sports league in the world. The PFL, baby, is absolutely the most lit thing in the world! I need to calm down. But seriously, I'm excited.
Boxing experts are absolutely losing it after Jake Paul dropped a bombshell about his career. This time, the outrage isn't about another gimmicky fight or YouTube-style spectacle, it's about his sudden announcement that he's walking away from the sport. Why does it matter?
I've already disrupted boxing, and now it's time to disrupt MMA. I know this is such a tough sport, and it's not going to be easy.
Because Paul's reputation, already hanging by a thread after a string of glorified exhibitions masquerading as real fights, has now collapsed completely. His credibility in the boxing world has nosedived into the abyss, and sponsors are fleeing. No serious backer wants to be associated with a fighter whose career was built more on spectacle than substance. What was once billed as a revolutionary crossover between entertainment and combat sports is now looking more like the final chapter of a short-lived experiment.
And not to mention that these champions get $1 million when they win. Join the PFL, baby.
Jake Paul's next move says it all. With his credibility in boxing hanging by a thread and his hunger for money still raging, he's decided to pivot to MMA. Why stick around in a sport where fans actually expect skill and legacy when you can jump into the PFL, a league still struggling to find its footing, and cash in on lower standards? It's a classic Jake Paul play: chase the paycheck, avoid the accountability. Instead of proving himself in a boxing ring against real competition, he's banking on name recognition and spectacle to sell tickets in a different arena. The problem? MMA fans are some of the most unforgiving in sports. If he thought the boxing community was harsh, he hasn't seen anything yet.
Talked to Nikisa an hour ago. The point is, I talked to Nikisa an hour ago. Two things are happening. Jake is super successful in boxing. Whether you love Jake or hate Jake, we can all agree that guy's the man when it comes to generating attention and revenue and viewership with his boxing career. And it's more successful than it was when we signed him on the boxing side. That has delayed MMA. That's delayed MMA because he's killing it on the boxing side. So will MMA happen with PFL? Yes, it will. Has it been delayed? Yes, it has. My guess is fall of this year, but I don't think it's going to be before then. He's got so many things going on in boxing.
Yeah, it's kind of what they told us as well. We did a little round table with him last month, and Nikisa and Amanda in Orlando, and he was basically like, listen, I got a box. So it could be maybe later this year, maybe 2026, but he's planning on doing it. At least that's
he's going to look. He's going to do it. And by the way, every time you've asked me or Nikisa or Jake, we've probably given similar answers without coordinating. We thought for sure it was 2024 fall.
Jake Paul's strategy is simple: ride the MMA wave, grab a fat paycheck, and risk ruining a sport that hasn't even had the chance to fully establish itself. It's classic Jake Paul: turn everything he touches into a circus, leaving wreckage in his wake.
League, baby! And not only am I an MMA fighter now officially signed to an organization, but I am also a co-founder of the new PFL pay-per-view super fight division.
Jake Paul's move to MMA makes sense for one reason: money. The PFL handed him a multi-million-dollar deal, not because of his skills, but because of his Instagram followers. Even PFL founder Don Davis has practically admitted that Jake's real value is as a walking billboard. Forget being a fighter, Jake's job isn't to rack up wins, it's to draw eyeballs. The league isn't banking on his left hook, they're banking on his ability to trend. And honestly, it's hard not to laugh when even the organization signing him seems more excited about his marketing power than his ability to actually fight.
This league is absolutely the most lit thing in the world! I need to calm down. But seriously, I'm excited.
Boxing experts are already tearing Jake Paul apart, and rightfully so. They're asking the obvious question: is he leaving because he couldn't hack it in boxing? The answer is as clear as his lack of footwork: absolutely. By moving to MMA, Jake isn't chasing greatness, he's sidestepping the heat.
I'm going to use my platform to market PFL fighters and introduce them to my fans worldwide. I personally will be deeply involved in making sure that the PFL is the best place in the world for fighters.
In boxing, respect is earned by climbing the ranks and proving yourself against top-tier opponents. But Jake Paul? He's always been more interested in playing the part than living it. MMA, with its lower expectations for crossover stars, is the perfect playground for him to keep pretending he's a real athlete, while avoiding any serious competition.
If that's not balls, then I don't know what.
But it's hard to respect a guy who treats combat sports like his personal piggy bank. Boxing experts have nailed it. Jake Paul is more businessman than boxer, and honestly they're right. Every move Jake makes is calculated for maximum profit, not maximum challenge.
And I'm taking this seriously, okay? Yes, I still want to become a world champion in boxing.
But it's hard to respect a guy who treats combat sports like his personal piggy bank. Boxing experts have nailed it. Jake Paul is more businessman than boxer, and honestly, they're right. Every move he makes is calculated for maximum profit, not maximum challenge.
Love Jake or hate Jake, we can all agree that guy's the man when it comes to generating attention and revenue and viewership.
And the PFL knows exactly what they've signed up for. Founder Don Davis called Jake a marketing genius, which is just a polite way of saying they hired him for clout, not talent. And they're not wrong. Jake's move to MMA isn't about proving himself, it's about squeezing every last dollar out of his social media fame.
When we signed him, on the boxing side, that has delayed MMA. That's delayed MMA. So will MMA happen with PFL? Yes, it will. Has it been delayed? Yes, it has. My guess is fall of this year.
Let's not ignore the timeline. Jake's MMA debut was originally slated for 2024, but now it's been pushed back to late 2025. Why? Jake claims it's because of his boxing commitments. But let's be real, there's nothing on his schedule except dodging ranked opponents and protecting his ego. Critics see it for what it is, Jake Paul running from the mounting pressure in boxing and seeking refuge in a sport where the expectations are far lower.
My advisor, Nikisa Badarian, is also joining as a co-founder of this new division for the PFL, and I'm appointing him the head of making everyone money.
Let's break this down. Jake Paul has spent years parading around like he's the savior of boxing, yet most of his fights have been against guys who had no business putting on gloves. Tyron Woodley? A retired UFC fighter with zero boxing credentials. Ben Askren? Couldn't outbox a toddler. Nate Robinson? A basketball player, not even close to a boxer. And let's not forget his one real test, his fight against Tommy Fury in 2023. The only time Jake stepped into the ring with someone who actually knew what they were doing, he got exposed. Even fans are roasting him, pointing out that Jake's boxing career ends without him ever consistently fighting real boxers. At this rate, his first MMA opponent might as well be a retired volleyball player. So now, Jake's off to the Professional Fighters League, PFL, where he can peddle the same shtick to a new audience. But here's the kicker, his MMA debut isn't even scheduled until fall 2025. That's nearly 2 years away. And in Jake's world, that probably means filming hype videos and cranking out a new line of merch instead of actually training. The excuse? He claims the delay is because of boxing commitments. Commitments to what? Losing another fight? Experts aren't buying it. They see what's really happening. Jake Paul is running from the mounting pressure to face actual boxers, and MMA gives him an escape hatch. There, he can play the new guy card while dodging the accountability that real fighters have to face.
But it matters. The opponent matters. Right? The opponent always matters. Jake is brilliant at picking opponents. So, of course it matters who the name and the opponent is.
Jake Paul's entire boxing career has felt like a bad prank that dragged on way too long. For years, he's been dodging real competition like it's an Olympic sport. Oh wait, scratch that, he's no pro. Critics have nailed him for cherry-picking opponents so carefully it's like he's shopping for the perfect avocado. Canelo Alvarez? Forget it. A rematch with Anderson Silva? Dream on.
This means the best fighters fight the best fighters every single year, which is better for you. I'm bringing you the best fight.
Instead of stepping up to fight real boxers, Jake Paul has built a career hand-picking opponents he knows he can beat, or at least ones who won't embarrass him too badly. And yet, the guy never stops running his mouth. Funny, isn't it? All that talk, but the only thing louder than Jake's trash talk is the sound of him sprinting away from real challenges. He disrupted boxing by being the first boxer to almost never box an actual boxer. Now he's set to disrupt MMA by becoming the first fighter whose opponents look more like retired football players than legitimate contenders. Boxing experts are having a field day roasting him. Jake talks big, but refuses to face anyone with real credentials. That's basically the tagline of his career. He loves to act like he's a revolutionary in combat sports, but his actions scream cowardice louder than his YouTube thumbnails scream clickbait.
Man, yeah, them dudes just using their YouTube status to come in boxing and make all this money.
You are a YouTuber. You ain't a boxer, mate. This guy never took a punch. He's never took one serious punch. Here's what he's took of Anderson Silva. And he's done this. What is that?